The 2025-26 season has started and Uefa Champions League has already kicked off. All teams have played their first few games in the league phase and we have already seen the first signs of what each one has to offer. Of course, there are some big names present, but there are also some teams which don't carry as big a brand name among the fans, although they might still be competitive. This made me wonder, what would be the ideal scenario in terms of the teams to be present in the league phase of UEFA Champions League? Since this is a subjective matter, I decided to give my personal ideal scenario for the competition after making all the necessary simulations needed for the European leagues and the qualifying rounds up to and including the league phase. In order to make it realistic, I also considered the UEFA country ranking for 26-27 season so that each league gets the right spots for next year's European competitions. So, what's the best possible scenario for UEFA Champions League of 2026-27? Well, firstly, I assumed this year's winners would be Tottenham Hotspurs. I selected this team since they will be able to secure a spot in next year's league phase, something that according to my opinion wouldn't be possible via their domestic league position. I applied the same scenario with Aston Villa winning this year's UEFA Europa League to secure a place in UEFA Champions League next year. They are the highest quality team in this year's Europa League and it will be very difficult for them to secure a European spot via the English Premier League. Then I had to simulate all final standings of European leagues for this season to determine which teams would get Champions League spots for next year, either directly to the league phase or by competing in the qualifying rounds. In order to determine which teams would take the European spots from each country, the following factors were taken into consideration: the market value of each team, European and domestic history and prior awards, fan base popularity and brand name, quality of the squad, and competitiveness over the last few years, both domestically and in Europe. And of course, a little bit of personal taste. For example, let's look at the case of AC Milan. The club has failed to secure a European spot last season and is not participating in this year's European competitions. However, the club's history with 7 Champions League trophies and many more titles and the squad quality in place for this year makes it impossible for me not to give this club a Champions League spot through Serie A in my projections. After simulating the final standings of the European leagues and deciding which teams would capture the Champions League spots, I had to proceed with simulating the teams qualifying through each qualifying round of the competition, starting from the first one up to the playoffs and through to the league phase. It's important to note that out of the 36 teams competing in the league phase, and according to UEFA rules, 27 teams are qualified directly due to their domestic league position for countries ranked in top 10 in UEFA rankings, with the exception of Spurs and Aston Villa. 5 teams are qualified through the qualifying rounds of the Champions Path. This involves the domestic champions of the countries ranked 11 to 55, and 2 teams are qualified via the qualifying rounds of the League Path, which involves best runner-ups not directly qualified to the league phase from countries ranked 5 to 15 based on UEFA coefficients. After making all the necessary simulations, the team shall be ordered based on their pot and their dynamic on the competition. The exception is Tottenham Hotspurs, which should be placed in pot 1 as this year's winner. The following are the 36 teams to be present in the league phase of next year's UEFA Champions League. Pot 1: Tottenham Hotspurs, Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool, Inter Milan, and Arsenal. Pot 2: Manchester United, Napoli, AC Milan, Juventus, Chelsea, Borussia Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, Benfica, and RB Leipzig. Pot 3: Bayer Leverkusen, Porto, AS Roma, Aston Villa, AFC Ajax, PSV, Olympique Lyonnais, Fenerbahce, and Club Brugge. And Pot 4: AS Monaco, Olympique Marseille, Real Sociedad, Celtic, Olympiacos, Dynamo Kiev, Copenhagen, Bodo Glimt, and Sparta Prague. So, these are my predictions for the league phase of UEFA Champions League for the 2026-27 season. I truly believe this group of teams would be the most attractive possible for fans to watch given the structure set by Uefa, as all the big names are present. All matches would be exciting to watch and no matchup would be an easy win. Do you agree with me? Leave your feedback in the comment section and give me your opinion on the most attractive league phase we could experience in the greatest European club competition. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more sports videos.